Centuries before tractors thundered across endless fields, a quieter power ruled the soil. The medieval farmer's secret was not steel or gasoline, it was muscle, harness, and faith. That secret still breathes today, hidden in plain sight among the Amish. While the modern world races forward, they remain anchored to a rhythm carved in the Middle Ages. Why cling to a method the rest of humanity abandoned? What truth do they see in the slow creak of wood and the steady pull of a horse? The answer is older than industry and more enduring than progress. The medieval world was a place of fragile survival. Villages lived at the mercy of the seasons, where a failed harvest meant famine, and the difference between life and death often hinged on the tools in a farmer's hands. Fields were tilled with wooden plows, pulled by oxen or horses, and every furrow carved into the soil was a gamble against hunger. Innovation was slow, but when it came, like the horse collar or the heavy plow, it transformed entire societies. These advances allowed medieval Europe to feed growing populations, sustain armies, and build the foundations of kingdoms. Yet survival was never guaranteed. Disease, war, and weather could undo years of labor. In this crucible of hardship, farming was not just an occupation, it was a lifeline, a sacred rhythm that bound humanity to the earth. Centuries later, across the Atlantic, the Amish would inherit this rhythm. When they settled in America, they carried with them the same medieval methods: horse-drawn plows, hand tools, and communal labor. While the modern world embraced engines and electricity, the Amish chose continuity. What was once necessity became identity. Their refusal to abandon these methods is not a relic of the past, it is a deliberate preservation of a way of life forged in the crucible of medieval survival. Modern gardeners face a battlefield that medieval farmers would scarcely recognize. The soil beneath their feet, once alive with microbial richness, is now often stripped bare by decades of chemical fertilizers and monoculture planting. Pests have grown resistant, forcing reliance on stronger pesticides that poison not only the insects, but the very earth itself. Seeds, once saved and shared, are now patented commodities, tethering growers to corporations rather than to tradition. The modern system promises abundance, but it comes at a cost: dependency. A gardener today may find themselves chained to synthetic inputs, irrigation systems, and fragile hybrids that collapse without constant intervention. When supply chains falter or chemicals fail, the system reveals its weakness. Contrast this with the old-world method preserved by the Amish. Their soil, enriched by manure and crop rotation, remains fertile without artificial boosters. Their reliance on draft animals keeps them free from fuel shortages. Their seeds, often heirloom varieties, carry resilience bred over centuries. Where modern gardening often feels like a fight against nature, the Amish approach feels like a partnership with it. In that contrast lies the mystery. Perhaps the medieval method is not outdated at all, but stronger than the systems we call advanced. Horse-drawn plowing. Picture the dawn, a farmer guiding a team of draft horses across damp soil. The wooden plow bites deep, turning the earth slowly but thoroughly. Why it worked then? Horses allowed medieval farmers to cultivate larger fields than oxen, feeding growing populations. Why it works now? Horses compact the soil less than heavy tractors, preserving its structure and fertility. They also require no fuel, only care and pasture, making them resilient in times of scarcity. Manure and natural fertility. Medieval farmers relied on animal manure, compost, and crop residues to enrich the soil. Why it worked then? It replenished nutrients naturally, keeping fields productive without chemical inputs. Why it works now? Amish farms still use manure spreaders pulled by horses. Their soil remains alive with microbes, healthier than chemically treated fields, and capable of sustaining crops year after year. Crop rotation and diversity. Instead of planting the same crop endlessly, medieval farmers rotated grains, legumes, and vegetables. Why it worked then? Rotation prevented soil exhaustion and reduced pest infestations. Why it works now? Amish fields follow similar cycles, ensuring balance and resilience. Their heirloom seeds carry genetic strength that modern hybrids often lack. Communal labor. In medieval villages, farming was collective. Neighbors worked side by side. Why it worked then? Shared labor meant survival during harvests and protection against famine. Why it works now? Amish families still gather for barn raisings and harvests. Work becomes a social bond, not a solitary struggle, reinforcing community resilience. Tools forged by hand. Medieval blacksmiths crafted plows, hoes, and scythes. Why it worked then? Tools were durable, repairable, and passed down through generations. Why it works now? Amish craftsmen continue this tradition, ensuring independence from industrial supply chains. Together, these methods form a living bridge between medieval Europe and modern America, a system that refuses to collapse under the weight of modern fragility. In Amish communities, the medieval method is not a museum piece, it is daily life. Horses still plow plows across small family fields, their steady pace setting the rhythm of the day. Manure is spread to enrich soil, while crop rotations ensure fertility without chemicals. Families save and exchange heirloom seeds, preserving varieties that thrive naturally. Work is shared. Neighbors gather for harvests, barn raisings, and threshing days, echoing the communal spirit of medieval villages. These practices are not romantic gestures, they are practical, resilient systems. By choosing continuity, the Amish prove that medieval logic still sustains modern survival. Old systems were designed with survival as their compass. Every tool, every rhythm of medieval farming was meant to keep families alive through famine, war, and uncertainty. Modern systems, by contrast, chase speed, profit, and scale, often at the expense of resilience. The Amish remind us that efficiency is not the same as strength. Their refusal to abandon medieval methods is a psychological stance: survival over convenience, community over profit. For viewers, the lesson is clear. Sometimes the slow, deliberate path builds endurance that the fast lane cannot. Rotate crops in your garden to keep soil healthy and reduce pests. Use compost or manure instead of relying solely on chemical fertilizers. Save seeds from strong plants each season to build resilience. Work communally. Share tools, knowledge, or labor with neighbors. Slow the pace. Tend soil by hand when possible, noticing its texture and health. These small steps echo medieval wisdom and Amish practice, grounding modern gardeners in methods that endure beyond profit-driven systems. Centuries ago, survival depended on the creak of a wooden plow and the patience of a farmer walking behind it. Today, the Amish remind us that progress is not always forward, it can also be preservation. In their refusal to abandon medieval methods lies a warning. When we forget old knowledge, we risk losing the very resilience that sustained humanity for generations. The horse's steady pull, the soil's quiet renewal, the community's shared labor, these are not relics, they are reminders. And perhaps, in a fragile modern world, they are the wisdom we need most.